My family sold my $3,600 PC I saved 4 years for to buy my sister clothes, but when I found out who gave them the idea, I moved out that night and blocked them all. I'm 22 years old. I work as a freelance graphic designer and stream video games. And I need to get this story off my chest because what happened a few months ago basically destroyed any illusion I had about my family. The thing is, I always knew my parents preferred my sister Olivia. I mean, that wasn't any secret. But I never thought they'd go as far as literally stealing something from me that took me years to save for. I guess I should start from the beginning, back when I was younger and still believed things could change. I grew up in a house where basically everything revolved around Olivia since she was born. She's 18 now, but since she was little, she was like the princess of the family, you know. Everything she wanted, she got, and I was like the invisible son who existed in the background. My parents were never directly mean to me. It's not like they hit me or anything. But there was this constant difference in how they treated us. Olivia wanted ballet classes. They paid for them. I wanted a better computer to edit school projects. They told me to use the 2010 family computer that barely turned on. Olivia needed a new dress for every event. Boom, credit card. I needed materials for a project. They told me to look for cheaper alternatives. You know what I mean? It was like that with everything. Literally everything. When I was like 16, I got really into graphic design and video games, and it was like finding my escape, my way to be good at something without depending on my parents. I started doing small jobs for people on the internet, logos, social media designs, that kind of stuff, and little by little I saved up. My dad always said that wasn't a real job, that I needed to get something serious like working at a store or a restaurant. But I knew there was a future in this. My mom basically ignored everything I did unless she needed something from me, like helping with groceries or cleaning the house while Olivia was at the mall with her friends. So, for like 4 years, from 17 to 21, I saved every penny I earned doing freelance designs. I'm talking about sacrificing going out with friends, not buying new clothes, eating whatever was at home instead of ordering food, all to be able to build my dream PC. It wasn't just a whim, you know? I needed a powerful computer for my design work, to render videos, to stream. It was literally my work tool and my passion at the same time. I researched every component for months, read reviews, compared prices, joined Reddit and Discord groups to learn everything I could about how to build a PC from scratch. When I finally had enough money, it was like a dream come true. I bought each piece myself, an RTX 3080 that cost me a fortune but was worth every penny. A Ryzen 9 processor, 32 gigabytes of RAM, all top quality. I built it myself in my room with YouTube tutorials and my best friend Noah helping me. And when it finally turned on and everything worked perfectly, I literally cried with excitement. I had invested like $3,600 total, which for me was all the money in the world, and I had it there on my desk, shining with its RGB lights, ready to take my work and streaming to the next level. My dad saw it and said something like, "Wow, you spent a lot of money on a computer to play games," and my mom just commented that she hoped I would now get a real job. Olivia didn't even come up to my room to see it. She was too busy posting photos of her new Michael Kors bag on Instagram. But I didn't care, because that PC was mine. I had earned it with my effort, and nobody could take it from me. Or so I thought. Fast forward to like 6 months ago. I was still living at my parents' house because, being honest, the apartment market was horrible, and my freelance income was good, but not super stable yet. I had left early that day to meet up with Noah. We played at a gaming cafe because he's also a gamer, and we had planned that outing for weeks. I got back home around 8 at night, went up to my room to turn on my PC and continue with a project I had to deliver the next day, and when I opened the door, I almost had a heart attack. The desk was empty. The PC wasn't there. The monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, everything had disappeared. Only the cables were hanging and a layer of dust where my complete setup used to be. I ran down the stairs, my heart beating a mile a minute, thinking we had been robbed or something. And I found my parents watching TV in the living room like nothing. I yelled at them. "Where's my computer? What happened? Did you call the police?" And my mom looked at me super calm and said, "Oh yeah, we sold it." Just like that. Casual. like she was telling me they had sold an old piece of furniture that was in the way. I stood there processing what I had just heard because it couldn't be real. It just couldn't. My dad added, Olivia needed money for new clothes. She has an important event next week and we didn't have cash available, so we sold your computer. Some guy came this afternoon and gave us $1,200 for it. I told Olivia to let you know, but I guess she forgot. And there I was, trying to understand how my own parents could sell something that wasn't theirs, something that had cost me years of work to buy clothes for my sister. Clothes. Not medicine. Not something necessary. Clothes for an event. I exploded. I yelled at them that computer was worth $3,600, that I had bought it with my money, that it was my work tool, that I had projects to deliver. My mom interrupted me and said not to be dramatic, that it was just a computer to play video games, that I could get a new one later, that Olivia was more important because she was younger and had her whole life ahead of her. My dad added that, as long as I lived under their roof, they could do whatever they wanted with what was in their house, and that I should be grateful they gave me a place to live for free, instead of making such a fuss over a computer. I went up to my room, shaking with rage, called Noah and told him everything. He couldn't believe it. He told me that was illegal, that it was theft, that I could call the police. But I knew that if I did that, my parents would kick me out of the house, and I had nowhere to go at that moment. Noah told me to stay at his place, but he lived with his parents too, and didn't have space. I stayed up all night thinking about what to do, staring at my empty desk, feeling how 4 years of effort had gone down the drain for my sister's whim. But the next day, I looked for Olivia. She was in her room, trying on new clothes, like 5 bags from expensive stores on her bed. I asked her if she knew what Mom and Dad had done, and she didn't even look at me. Just said, "Yeah, I needed the money. It's not a big deal, Caleb. Get another one." I told her that PC had cost me years of savings, that I had work to do. How could she be so selfish? She finally looked at me and said, "Look, you're already 22 years old. I'm just starting my life. I need nice things to feel good. And besides, you can earn more money with your little drawings or whatever it is you do." I left before saying something I'd regret. I spent the next few days investigating. I had the serial numbers of all my components because I had saved them for the warranty. I had purchase receipts, I had photos of the PC, basically I had proof that everything was mine. I checked local buy and sell pages until I found my PC, posted by a guy who had bought it from my parents. I wrote to him explaining the situation, that my parents had sold it without my permission, that it was mine, and I had proof. The guy was understanding but firm, said he had paid $1,200 in good faith and that he wasn't going to return it for free, but that if I gave him his money back, he'd return it no problem. I had about $800 saved from recent jobs. I needed $1,200. I went to my parents during dinner. Olivia was there too, showing off a new dress that probably cost $300, and I told them I needed them to give me the $1,200 they got for my PC. My dad laughed and said that money was already spent, to forget about it. I told them that if they didn't give me the money, I was going to call the police and press charges for theft, that I had all the proof that the PC was mine. My mom said I wouldn't be capable of doing that to my own family. I looked at her directly and said, "You guys had no problem stealing from me, your son. So yes, I'm capable." My dad's face changed. He turned red and started yelling that I was ungrateful, that after everything they had done for me, this is how I repaid them. I responded, "Everything you did for me? Like what? Give me a roof while ignoring everything I achieved and spending thousands of dollars on Olivia?" Olivia interrupted, saying it wasn't her fault. I was a loser with no real ambitions. That's when I realized I was never going to win with arguments or guilt. I told them they had 24 hours to give me $1,200, or I'd call the police, and I locked myself in my room. Noah came over that night and brought me food. We talked about options, about what to do if they kicked me out. He offered me a $400 loan he had saved, but I told him no, that this was something I had to resolve myself. The next morning, my dad knocked on my door and gave me an envelope with $1,200 in cash. He told me, "Here's your money, but let it be clear that from now on you're on your own. Don't expect anything else from us." I told him, perfect, that it was exactly what I wanted. My mom was behind him with a victim face, saying she couldn't believe how selfish I was, that I was destroying the family over money. I didn't respond, took the money, and left the house. I contacted the guy who had my PC. We met in a public place. I gave him his $1,200 back and got my computer back. I took it to Noah's house, left it there for safety, and stayed with him that weekend putting together a plan. The truth is, that moment was a breaking point for me. I realized I had to get out of that house. I couldn't keep living with people who saw me as less important, as someone they could take from without consequences. I started looking for apartments and more stable jobs. I increased my prices in freelance design, started streaming more often to generate extra income, basically worked like crazy the following weeks. Noah helped me looking for roommate options and cheap apartments. I found a small but decent studio about 30 minutes from where my parents lived, $650 a month, which was tight but possible if I got enough clients. Meanwhile, at home, things were tense. My parents basically ignored me. Olivia went on with her normal life like nothing had happened. I started moving my stuff little by little, taking clothes and personal items to Noah's house without them noticing. My plan was to leave without drama, without confrontations, just disappear. One night, like 2 weeks after the PC incident, my mom called me for dinner. I thought they wanted to talk, maybe apologize, but no. My mom told me casually, "You know, it was Olivia's idea to sell your computer. She told us you surely wouldn't mind because you always make more money easily with your designs." Olivia was there eating and just shrugged when I looked at her. She said, "Don't get mad, Caleb. I needed the money and your computer was just sitting there doing nothing." I told her I used it every day for work, and she responded, "Well, then get another one." That was the straw that broke the camel's back. I finished dinner in silence, went up to my room, and that same night I signed the apartment lease. I used the last $800 I had for the deposit and first month's rent. During the next 2 weeks, I kept working like crazy to have enough money for basic furniture and food. Noah lent me some things. An old mattress he had stored, dishes, stuff like that. My other friends from Discord also helped me. One gave me a gaming chair he wasn't using anymore. Another gave me a desk he was going to throw away. The day I officially moved out, my parents weren't home. Olivia was at school. I rented a small truck. Noah and 2 other friends helped me load everything. I left a note on the kitchen table that said something like, "I moved out. Don't try to contact me for a while. I need space from this family. Thanks for nothing." Yeah, maybe it was kind of dramatic, but at that moment, I felt they needed to know this was real, that I was fed up. My mom called me like 3 hours later, screaming on the phone, saying how dare I leave like that I was ungrateful, that they were going to cancel my phone line that they paid for. I told her, go ahead, that I had already gotten a plan in my name anyway. My dad sent me messages saying I was making a mistake, that I wasn't going to survive alone, that I'd come crawling back in a few months. Olivia sent me a message that said, "You seriously left over a computer? How childish." The first few months were tough, I'm not going to lie. There were days where I ate ramen 3 times a day because it was all I could afford. But they were also the most liberating months of my life. I didn't have to hear passive-aggressive comments about my work. I didn't have to see Olivia receive new things constantly while I was invisible. I didn't have to feel less important in my own home. My streaming started to grow. I got some regular design clients who paid well, and little by little things improved. About a month after leaving, my mom started sending me messages more often, like, "Your dad and I want to talk to you. You can't stay mad forever. Family is important." I'd respond with short things, like, "I'm fine, we'll talk later." I didn't want confrontation, but I also didn't want to pretend everything was okay. My dad sent me a message saying he had been too hard on me, but that he did it to teach me to be independent. Like, seriously? Stealing my computer was a life lesson? I didn't respond. About 3 months in, a family friend contacted me, like a distant uncle who had always been cool with me. He told me my parents were having a hard time financially, that apparently they had gone overboard with the credit card buying stuff for Olivia, and now they were behind on payments. He said he didn't want to get into family drama but thought I should know. I thanked him for the information, but honestly, I didn't feel anything. Like, it wasn't my problem if they had made bad financial decisions. My mom invited me to Olivia's birthday dinner like 2 months ago. She sent me a long message saying that Olivia was sad because her older brother wasn't going to be at her birthday, to please come, even if just for a bit, that the family needed to be together. I responded no. That Olivia wasn't sad, that she just wanted me there to feel better about herself, and that I had no interest in pretending we were a happy family. My mom called me after that, crying, saying I was hurting her. How could be so cruel? I told her, Mom, you guys sold my $3,600 computer for $1,200 to buy clothes for Olivia. Olivia told me, to my face it wasn't a big deal. To get another one? You guys told me I was on my own, so now I'm on my own and you're upset. I can't win with you, so I'm not going to try anymore. She kept crying, saying I was her son, that I had to forgive them. I told her maybe someday I would, but right now I needed to be away from them, and I hung up. After that call, I blocked them all. My mom, my dad, Olivia. I needed peace of mind. I needed to be able to live without feeling that constant pressure of having to justify my decisions or feel guilty for setting boundaries. Noah told me he was proud of me, that I had done the right thing, and the truth is that for the first time in a long time, I was proud of myself too. Now it's been 6 months since I moved out. My streaming channel has like 2,500 followers. It's not much, but it's a start. My freelance design income is more stable. I have regular clients who pay me well and on time. I was able to buy myself a decent couch last month, and 2 weeks ago, I bought myself a better microphone for streaming. My apartment is small, but it's mine. Everything in it I bought with my work, and that feels incredible. Do I regret leaving? No. Do I miss my family? Sometimes I miss the idea of what could have been a normal family, but I don't miss the reality of how things were. Am I still angry? The truth is not so much anymore. More than angry, I'm at peace, if that makes sense. I no longer carry that weight of trying to be enough for people who were never going to value me anyway. Last week, Noah and I were playing, like a late-night streaming session, and he asked me if I'd ever talk to my parents again. I told him I didn't know, that maybe someday, if they really changed and truly apologized, but that I wasn't going to hold my breath waiting for that to happen. He said something that stuck with me. He said, sometimes, the best family is the one you build yourself, not the one you got by blood. And he's right, I guess. The people who have supported me through all this, Noah, my Discord friends, even some clients who became friends, they're my family now. Sometimes I look at my PC on the desk in my apartment, with all its RGB lights shining, and I remember everything I had to go through to get it back and to get to where I am now. It was horrible at the time. I felt like they were ripping my heart out, but it was also the push I needed to finally get out of a toxic situation that was drowning me. I'm no longer the invisible son who accepts crumbs of attention and respect. I'm Caleb, 22 years old, freelance graphic designer, growing streamer, and owner of my own life. And that, honestly, is enough for now.